Shalom and good day all, this is Healing29 back again for a solicitation station. This time episode 36 I believe we're up to. So moving into first things first, what do we have here of what I'll be going through? So we've got the Marvel previews, the latest issue out, along with the DC Connect. I'll now get things ready for the first one that I'll be covering, and I'll try to get through this as quick as I can. So I sort of doubt that I'll be around to have any of these comics be reviewed on the channel, because quite likely I'll probably be murdered by our government here. But let's move into first things first. So as we can see here, it looks like Joe Kelly and Ed McGuinness are moving on to the Amazing Spider-Man. Hopefully they'll be able to deliver something good for the Amazing Spider-Man series instead of turning it into complete utter shit with Zeb Wells on the title. So moving into the next thing, we have the character of Psylocke, which connects to the X-Men, and I must admit this is one character I do actually like, but I think if I were to get anything on the character of Psylocke, I'd probably quite likely go to something older instead of something newer. We have something in relation to the Avengers, and quite likely it's a Disney crossover. Not in my list, so I doubt I'll be collecting any of these. Same goes with these, including the West Coast Avengers. Nothing of interest here. And again, nothing of interest here. We see some Blade and some Moon Knight. I have been collecting the Jed McKay Moon Knight, which has been alright, but it does need to clean up some of its areas which it puts out into the story. Of course, moving into next, nothing much of interest here. Though I wouldn't be surprised if Minnie becomes a better Captain Marvel than Carol Danvers. Nothing of interest here. I must admit there are some nice Psylocke covers there. That's about the only thing. Even the Stanley Artgerm one, to which she actually does a number of variants. One, the Virgin variant, so that's one that's without any of the trade dress on it. Nothing of interest here. Same as before. Same as before. Same as before. I do like that Uncanny X-Men cover, issue 6. And it would probably be something that I'd want to pick up. It does remind me of, what was it? The Strange Academy by its appearance. Nothing of interest there. The Venom War, not even of interest. Same as before, nothing of interest. Same as before. The Ultimate, about the only thing I'd probably want to get there would be the Ultimate Spider-Man, and maybe even the trade paperback, which I think is also meant to be coming out soon for the first 6 issues. The Ultimate X-Men by Peach Momoko. Might think about picking up the trade. Might. Not much of interest. Ultraman Avengers. I will give a recommendation. Definitely check out Ultraman on Netflix. Not only the movie, but also the animated series. These look to be some facsimile editions. Trust me, it's worth the money, the facsimile edition stuff. Oh, it's the amazing fake Spider-Man, Miles Morales. Someone kill him off already. I'm sick of his character. Let Peter Parker be the only Spider-Man, not Miles Morales. Unless you change Miles Morales into a villain, to which I think you'd probably make a better villain at Marvel. Nothing real of interest here. Not a lot of interest. There is one thing of interest here, and that's actually Kid Venom. I must admit I enjoyed the first issue. It's definitely worth the pick up. And it's a little bit more exciting than Spider-Boy. and it has real consequences. Nothing of interest here. Same as before. Same as before. Same as before. Same as before. Stay away from the David Fraudoloni Lolita Syndrome universe, mainly around the character of Ahsoka. She is not canon, and never was meant to be canon. Stay away from fake Star Wars, to which this is all fake Star Wars. More fake Star Wars under Disney. Not much of interest here. Slowly moving into the collected editions. Not much of interest there. Not much of interest. The Legends is the true blue grit stuff from the original Star Wars universe, to which Kathleen Kennedy said they didn't have any source material, but is actual proper source material, and she completely lied about, because she considers her own universe more superior than George Lucas's. So if you really want proper Star Wars, I advise you get this stuff, but cheapest. Get it at the cheapest price ever. Nothing of interest here. Again, nothing of interest. Same again. Same again. Same again. Same again. Same again. Same again. Some epic collection stuff. Worth the pick up. More Legends OG original Star Wars content. If you pick it up, get it at the cheapest price ever. Nothing of interest. And finally, at the end, now seeing that we've got 4 posters at the end here, if I were to pick any poster from here, it would have to be the Psylocke one. It's probably my favorite. Well, now it's time to move on to the DC Connect. So as we move into the DC Connect, we have the return of the Justice League Unlimited with Mark Waid and Dan Mora at the helm. It might be quite a good series, but it could also be crap as well, depending on how well the story is written. So let's continue moving inside and see what does grab my interest and see what doesn't. So as you've probably heard, we've got the DC All In. I advise you look up a series called the DC Real World Universe, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's going to be if this DC All In is going to be more like the DC Real World Universe, but with some slight changes. If I were to say one thing, I think what they've done with Batman and some of the other characters, about the only symbol that I really actually like out of the DC All-In ones is the Superman symbol. I think it's probably the best one of them all. The other ones look like the artists have wiped their ass just to make the symbol. It's the only way to put it. So let's continue on. So starting off with the Unlimited related stuff. And here's the wipe my ass symbol of the Absolute Batman by Scott Snyder. And we have Batman looking more in appearance like a cross between Bane and Deathstroke. And he looks nothing like Batman. And I want to point out something. I'm not a fan of the Frank Miller Dark Knight. I've read it. It's not my favorite. I'd rather read Peter J. Tomasi. Then we move into the Superman one. And take note that Jason Aaron is on it. As much as I don't like him being on this particular Superman, I do actually quite like the symbol used for Superman, and I think that's one thing that they did sort of get right. Take in account that his appearance looks more like the New 52 Superman. Another thing as well that you might want to pay attention to, so it might let you know the direction to which this all-in is going. And it's going to be a number Thunderbox flop. Then we have the all-in Wonder Woman. Again, her symbol looks like it's been drawn by the ass or done by the ass of the artist. In other words, they've wiped their bum, and this is the symbol that they gave you. Then we move into Tom Taylor gayifying Batman, or maybe giving him a sister, maybe in connection to like a certain series, just like what he did with Nightwing. So be prepared for Batman to be completely ruined, not only by Tom Taylor, but also by Scott Snyder this time around. Of course, we still have Chip Zdarsky doing the terrible things that he's doing with Batman, but it also looks like he's moving towards the end of, maybe moving to the end of his run. Superman issue 20 with Joshua Williamson still on the title. There have been some okay issues in this, but I'll say one thing. The Wonder Woman, at least it gets the symbol correct for Wonder Woman. Even though it's the Tom King one, at least it gets the symbol right, and it doesn't look like it's been wiped on the ass of an artist that's been done to do it. And it looks way better in this picture than it did in the other. But what I've been hearing of the Tom King run, it's absolute shit. The art is the only thing that's saving it. And the story is crap house. Other thing of interest that sort of connects to the run is the stuff in relation to the character of Trinity. And that's about all. We have some Action Comics with Mark Waid. Hopefully he'll be able to fix up what's happening with Superman in Action Comics. And nice to see Damian Wayne around. Not much of interest here, but I really hope Dan Waters delivers a really good story in relation to Nightwing here. I'd be happy if he killed off the so-called sister of Nightwing. Just saying. Make him an only child once again. Much like him and Bruce were. Then we have Titans finally being taken over by someone other than Tom Taylor. Hopefully it will no longer be boring. Not much of interest here. Of course, they still have Simon Spurrier on The Flash. When are they going to get him off this title and bring back Jeremy Adams, someone who actually respects the character? Of course, we have Batman and Robin with Philip Kennedy Johnson. At least I'll say one thing about Philip Kennedy Johnson. At least he is able to write some meaning into the characters, where Joshua Williamson turns Damian Wayne into Timian Wayne. And what do I mean by Timian Wayne? Well, he writes him more like Tim Drake than Damian Wayne. Of course, we got some other titles. The Batman 89 Echoes. I ended up cancelling my subscription, or cancelling it from my run because it just dragged too long. Of course, we have JSA with Jeff Johns, Black Canary by Tom King. I advise you, it might be wise not to pick up the Black Canary. Written by Tom King. Of course, we've got the Return of the Question, but it's Return of the Fake Question, to which it's Renee Montoya, when in reality it should be Vic Sage. Of course, we have some Shazam and Power Girl. Moving into the multiverses, which this sort of like connects to the video game universe. We got the DC Horror Presents. Not much of interest here. About the only thing I would probably want to pick up would be this. the Batman Santa Claus Silent Night Returns. The first one was great. Definitely want to check out the next. Of course, some of the covers. There are some okay covers here. Return of Gotham by Gaslight, The Kryptonian Age, Dark Knights of Steel or Winter, again by Tom Taylor and Jay Kristoff. You might not want to pick it up because Tom Taylor's on it. DC versus Vampires, hit or miss. Not much of interest here. Not a lot of interest here. About the only thing that might be of interest might be the Little Bit Batman, which focuses on a Damian Wayne of a different universe. Good old facsimile editions, can't go wrong with them. And finally, into the collected editions, we have the Kneel Before Zod, which has been alright. We've got the compact comics, to which I hear sales aren't that great. Next we have some of the DC Finest. About the only thing I'd probably want to get here would be the Battle for the Cowl. Is there anything else? Not really. And that finishes things off for this solicitation station. Until then, let's keep it colourful and have yourself an awesome day.